2, 3. Construction work means work for construction, alteration, and/or repair, including painting and decorating. OSHA has interpreted this definition to include alteration, repair, renovation, rehabilitation, and remodeling of existing facilities or structures. The distinction between construction and maintenance is based on the nature of the work being performed rather than the job title of the worker performing it. CENRAC acknowledges the scope of proposed subpart R was governed by the definition of construction work contained in 1910.12b, which applies to all of Part 1926. The following rule defines steel erection as construction, alteration, or repair of steel buildings, bridges, and other structures, including the installation of metal decking and all planking used during the process of erection. In the proposed rule, steel erection was defined as the erection of these structures. That unintentionally conflicted with the proposed paragraph A, stated the steel erection activities also included alteration and repair, activities which include work on structures that have already been erected. The definition of steel erection in the final rule was changed to correct this error. One commenter stated that the phrase alteration and/or repair is unclear and that some of these activities may be considered construction work, while others may be considered maintenance. The commenter suggests that OSHA defines these terms. The requirement of subpart R applies to employers engaged in steel erection unless otherwise specified. Subpart R does not apply to electrical transmission towers, communication and broadcast towers, or tanks. Paragraph B1 sets out a list of specific steel erection activities covered under Subpart R. These steel erection activities include hoisting, laying out, placing, connecting, welding, burning, guying, bracing, bolting, plumbing, rigging, structural steel, steel joists, and metal buildings, installing metal deck and siding systems, miscellaneous metals, ornamental iron, and similar materials, and moving point to point while performing these activities. In the proposed rule, the general erection of curtain walls and window walls, as well as laying out, placing, burning, guying, bracing, and plumbing structural steel, steel joints, and metal buildings, were inadvertently omitted from this paragraph. This has been corrected in the final rule. Otherwise, the paragraph is same as proposed. The definition of structural steel has also been added to help clarify this section. It means a steel member or a member made of a substitute material such as fiberglass, aluminium, composites, etc. Structural steel includes, but is not limited to, steel joist, joist girders, purloins, columns, beams, trusses, splices, seats, metal decking, girts, and all bridging, and cold-formed metal framing, which is integrated with the structural steel framing of the building. At the hearing, CENRAC members explained that in some instances, buildings are now constructed with members that are configured like steel members, but are made of a substitute material. For example, solid web beams made of fiberglass. Since the erection process, the configuration of the structural framework and the members are the same as in construction made of structural steel. These are included in the definition. A note to paragraph B, which of the proposed rule listed activities which should be covered by the subpart when they occur during the process of steel erection activity. Some commentators stated that the list was confusing and subject to misinterpretation since it was difficult to determine when the activities would be covered by subpart R. One of the examples are much too broad and confusing, subject to misinterpretation, and that a literal interpretation would include the installation of handrails, gaskets, sealants, doors, and windows within a building as steel erection, whether or not it was actually part of the steel erection activities. Others stated that the scope of the paragraph was adequate and the note should be eliminated in order to avoid misinterpretation. But the note is confusing because of its length, location, and the implication that all listed activities performed on listed structures constitute steel erection, and that the note should be relocated to a non-mandatory appendix. The changes to the first sentence of the list in the final rule are intended to address when the listed activities are covered. The agency has added a definition of tank, but one that is simpler than suggested above. The definition of tank in the final rule is a container for holding gases, liquids, or solids. Although tanks are excluded, as the agency explained in the preamble to the proposed rule, subpart R does cover the steel structure that supports a tank. When OSHA established SUNROC, it stated that the scope of subpart R was to be addressed by the committee was limited to steel erection.